Welcome to Digital Asset News. I get top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down to bite-sized pieces. Today we had a lot of things to go over, so let's jump right in. First up, former EU Parliament member Godfrey Bloom, who calls banking system a scam, bought his first Bitcoin. And this is the internet's favorite example of someone who can rail against the central banks and why this is so important. He's actually into Bitcoin now also. On the heels of the XRP Spark airdrop, there's a new scam coming about. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is and how to avoid it so you don't fall victim. Speaking of XRP, 2 fraud allegations have been dropped against Ripple and their CEO Brad Garlinghouse. However, the XRP lawsuit does move forward, and there's some interesting wrinkles here, and we're going to get into Brad Garlinghouse and his holdings as far as XRP, how much he sold and how much he has. Also, Sushi Swap starts to tank and bleed out as it drops below $1. And I have to tell you, good riddance. And we're going to talk about this as far as what a project should absolutely not and never do, and what a project like Uniswap and how it redeems the whole area. Final 2 pieces, I want to take a look at this new project called Polka Starter. There's some pretty good stuff about it, but there's also some things that make me very leery. So we'll get into all that, but let's take a look at what's going on in the market. So today is October 4th, about 2 p.m. It is Sunday. Fantastically beautiful day here in the fantastic city of El Paso, Texas. But what do we got here? Wow, Bitcoin is up 1%, 10.6. You cannot beat that. First of all, it's a Sunday. Things usually start to kind of take a dip. And also with everything that happened to BitMEX, with the U.S. president, and just the global economy in general, I mean, hey, pretty great day if it's up 1%. Ethereum up 1%, and it's above 350. Super happy. Tether, which is tethered to the US dollar, is at $1. XRP, which I think is tethered to the quarter, is around 25 cents. Binance Coin, 3.4% up. I do like that. I'm not a big holder, but whoever is a holder out there for Binance, congratulations. Good job holding that coin. Bitcoin Cash, 0.9. Let's see, what else is really up? 3.5 for Cardano. Not too bad. 3.7 for Monero. Again, Monero making a nice little pump. Hopefully I can actually hit in that top 10. We'll see what happens. 0.8 with 3.6, 1.2. Nothing really great. Uniswap, down 6%, almost 7, down to 374. I was hoping it would hold that $4 range, but just couldn't do it. But I see big things on the horizon. I see decentralized exchanges becoming more and more of a better thing, and actually just better for all of us. So besides all the different scam coins that are out there, hopefully they can deal with that. But I think that they are the future, especially with what's going on with these centralized exchanges. And just take a look at BitMEX. Everything else is good, but wow, look at Celsius Network, 54% up. Unbelievable for the week, 15%. And I was just talking about this a couple days ago. It just crossed the $1 barrier. Now we're at $1.40, so is $2 in the horizon? I don't know. But I have to tell you, Celsius is one of my main things. They are my 1, 2, 3 punch as far as what I do with my cryptocurrency. I have 30% of my entire portfolio in the Celsius wallet, and I believe in what they're doing. Like Alex Mashinsky, looks like a pretty good thing. I like them. I buy most of my things with Voyager or with Kraken, and those are my 1, 2, 3 punches from now on. If you want to sign up for Celsius, just in the description of every one of my videos, there's a link to the Google spreadsheet, exchange and wallet fees, and I just go through everything that I use and recommend or do not recommend. And if you sign up with Celsius, it's $20, so you can go right to Celsius and sign up, or you can use the affiliate links for all these different ones that I have and get paid a little bit. But that's up to you. Do whatever you want. So all right, let's break into today's top stories. So first up, I've seen this guy countless times on the internet, and I have no idea who he is, and now it all makes sense. So this is former Parliament member Godfrey Bloom. That's a good name, Godfrey Bloom, who called banking system just an outright scam, and you gotta love this guy. So first of all, who is this guy? He's a politician, member of the EU for Yorkshire and the Humber from 2004 to 2014. No idea what that is. I'm in America. It's all foreign to me. He was elected for the UK Independence Party, later served as independent. Bloom has also published 6 books on military history and the Austrian School of Economics. So pretty bright guy and really gets to know things, and probably one of the brightest ones that we can have as far as talking about that the central banks are outright scams. Because, hey, wrote a couple books on it. And the former MEP is well known for his unconventional views, calling the state an institution of theft and saying the debt crisis was created by politicians and central bankers. And if you're on my channel, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Those people All of them that are involved are all guilty of this, all of them. So when we see something like this, just kind of, call a spade a spade. I love people like that. He even said the whole banking system is a scam, as is global warming. So just to get you a little insight about this guy, just how, how ballsy he is. I mean, this guy, he's great for the whole industry. He's great as far as honesty. And when I first saw this video, I saw this like a couple of years ago, it was fantastic. So I'm just going to play this for you so you know exactly what the heck I'm talking about.
For the EFT, Mr. Bloom has 2 minutes.
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years, and that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
Well, that's a steaming bowl of truth right there, if I've ever heard any. So this is the guy. And I can tell you, you got to love him. Que huevos. Before we move on, I just got to say that we did a video yesterday about Michael Saylor, who is the CEO of MicroStrategy, who had put in almost $500 million worth of fiat into Bitcoin, and what he thinks about it. And we had known about this story, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but there was another interview that he did with Stansberry Research where he pretty much just lays it out, why Bitcoin is far, far superior to gold and everything else. Now, I'm a believer in gold. I have invested into it. I think the new saving strategy should be gold, silver, Bitcoin. And when we have people that just start to get it, like Saylor here, like Bloom, like all these different people, like the Paul Tudor Jones, you start to feel like things are shifting, that things are changing. And this is, I got to tell you, the most exciting time to be in this space, because people are just starting to wake up and going, wait, the world's on fire. The interest rates are going down to 0 or maybe even negative. The inflation rate is going up way too fast. And this quantitative easing, someone's going to have to pay for this. So what do? Well, we have choices, and we can stay into money and fiat and things like that, or we can hedge our bet and look at some other types of assets like, well, I don't know, Bitcoin. So I feel the shift. I see it coming. Let me know what you think, but let's move on. So what was interesting to me about this guy is that Bloom hadn't invested into Bitcoin yet. He had just gone into gold and silver. But this all changed on Thursday when he said that he bought his first Bitcoin. He says, I made my first purchase of Bitcoin this week. Gold and silver, I have plenty. I'm sure he does. Probably a pretty well-off guy. And then further on, he elaborates, I'm not anti-Bitcoin, just an old geezer, more comfortable with gold. He responded to a tweet urging him to get into Bitcoin in May. And this is the thing. Just because when you talk to people and they say, you know what, I don't really get Bitcoin. I don't really understand it. Or I don't, really, I can't get behind it because it has no fill in the blank. It has no utility. It's going to go away. You can have all these forks, you can have all these problems, and gold and silver and fiat is a safer opportunity. You just have to keep telling them exactly why. Because what I feel like for this channel does, it's kind of like educating people as much as I can get my hands on and pull them into this life raft before everything goes under. That's kind of how I feel. So I think it's the same thing here with Bloom. Very smart guy, wrote a couple books on the economy. So, I mean, he finally gets it after all this time. And it's been, I mean, that video I showed you was 2013. So, I mean, you have to really put in the time to kind of change people's thoughts. That's just how it is. And then he states that he's been buying gold since the 90s when it was $250 per ounce. Now it's $1550. I think the high was like a 2000. And then lastly, he states he indicated in response to another tweet that he will not ignore Ethereum and decentralized finance in his research. So again, this is a guy who just started off with Bitcoin, which I always call it the gateway crypto, and then he's going to fall down that rabbit hole, and who knows, maybe he can be on this channel and talk about his experiences. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's move on. Next up, don't fall for the scam. This is going to be simple, easy. So what's happening here? As you all may know, for all you XRP holders, including myself, there's going to be an airdrop, and it's going to be from Flare, where they're going to give you Spark tokens. So it's kind of like a one-to-one airdrop. All the XRP, you get Flare or Spark. What's Spark? Well, it's going to introduce the smart contract functionality to the XRP ledger. And on top of that, Ripple's making moves because they've actually got a patent for Oracle. So should be a good year for Ripple and or XRP. We'll find out. Anyhow, the airdrop's going to happen on December 12th. And here's the problem. So we've done a couple of videos on how to take your XRP and actually have it set up so you'll get the airdrops. I did a video right here. You can find it. I'll probably link in the very end of this video. Also over on Dan or Digital Asset News Clips, where I just kind of break all these long videos down that I do into clips. This is the video. It's 7 minutes long, and it explains exactly how to set everything up. So you have your Ethereum wallet, and you sign the transaction. Everything's good. So you can check that out. Or if you want to make things easier, just deposit your XRP into Celsius because they're going to support the airdrop. Whatever you want to do. So the video that I did was based on White's Wind. And White's Wind, he's a board member of the newly created XRP Ledger Foundation. And he wrote this little blog post which explains exactly how to do things. So I took that blog post, did a video, and I showed you exactly how I did it on my Nano Ledger, and it's pretty simple, not too difficult. But again, Celsius makes it like brain dead easy. You just put your XRP on there. So I'll explain the peculiarities of the sham. White's Wind claims that fraudsters are already creating the copycat of his legitimate website on the other domain that asks global users to send XRP during the process of claiming Spark tokens. So what's going to happen is people are going to spoof that website or that web address. They're going to try to get people to deposit it into their wallet, and it's just kind of a real pain in the A. So again, you can make it hard or make it simple. But just know this. It's important to note that the real tool will never ask you to deposit any tokens in advance. You're not depositing any tokens. You're just stating where they actually are in which wallet. And that is the big thing. That's all you got to do. Also, there's going to be a fake Telegram channels. I mean, it says channel here, but I guarantee there's multiple right now because everybody wants your cryptocurrency. Treat everything like a scam until proven otherwise, and usually you should be okay. So anyhow, just avoid the scams. And speaking of scams, I got an email from a subscriber. This is from Kevin, and last name to protect the innocent. And what he tells me is that he's been investing in Bitcoin, and in one of my comments in one of my videos, he says he got a sales pitch from a third party who recommends an investor. It's the same trash you've seen constantly, and I read all the reviews or all the different things that people say, and I go through there, and every single day in the morning, because I wake up around 3:30. I know I'm not a big sleeper, and I wake because I got so much to do. So I'll go through those and I'll wipe out all those different things that YouTube doesn't catch, which is weird because I'll have 2,000 comments. And they're 2,000 scam comments, and then the rest, the other 1,000, are actually legitimate. But I'll still have to go through there and manually click on them and report them as scam or delete them or whatever else. And then, of course, later on, the scammers will come back and put them right back in. So it's like a never-ending battle. So just know that anybody who says oh, I got this great one from Hacker Steve or Hacker John or whatever, he's the best, whatever, they're not the best. They're the worst, and they're just bots, and they are just trying to separate you from your money. Don't fall for that like Kevin did. And this is just a cautionary tale. And I know some people are saying, well, how could it ever happen? I don't believe that happened. Well, guess what? Not everybody's as savvy as you are, all right? So I can't say any more clear. Some people just are trusting. I mean, That's what it is. So it's all about Forex and stocks. He says it went on for a month. They requested more Bitcoin. And again, fast trade 24 hours. I would invest and my investment would grow and blah, 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 blah. So just know this. Treat everything like a scam until proven otherwise, because it all is. 99% of everything out there is a scam. There's only 1% that's good. That's just how I feel. Not a very trusting person. And it's served me pretty well. Will you miss some opportunities? Sure. But guess what? You won't be like Kevin, losing everything. So that's just a little PSA. All right, let's move on. Next up, fraud allegations against Ripple dropped. And that's not the big story. The big story is what's going to happen with discovery. And I'll get that in a second. It says here in a court record dated October 2nd, which was Friday, signed by Judge Hamilton, the court decided to dismiss the charges against San Francisco startup for violations of sections, blah, blah, blah. So what they're saying is that the plaintiff here argued that Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, made statements that inflated the adoption of enterprise solutions with the adoption of XRP, even if Ripple's enterprise clients were not adopting the fourth largest group. So what it comes down to is that they're saying that because Brad was always saying, hey, Ripple's doing great, XRP's doing great, XRP's doing great, they're saying that he misrepresented what was happening with Ripple, the company, as far as what's happening with XRP, the token, the cryptocurrency. And that has been some confusion out there. I mean, even exchanges get it wrong. They list XRP as Ripple. I still see it. It's crazy. So they're saying that is fraud. And of course, the court granted the motion to drop the charge, saying the plaintiff's claim is unfounded. There was a separate claim that Garlinghouse made statements that falsely associated the adoption of enterprise solutions with the adoption of XRP, which is what I was just saying. Because Ripple is doing so good, XRP is not doing so good. They are separate. Ripple is a technology company. XRP is a cryptocurrency. And a lot of the different banks and their associations have adopted Ripple. They say, you know what? This is a pretty great company and technology, and as far as like a messaging service for cross-border payments. However, we don't really get into XRP. Sorry. There are far more banks and institutions using Ripple than there are XRP. Now, is that going to change in the future? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I sure hope it does. I'm still holding the exact same amount of XRP. I haven't added to that stash, and I have lost over 90% of my position, but I'm just too darn stubborn to let it go. So I will say this, though. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And a lot of deals get done in back rooms with just a simple handshake. And what Ripple is doing is they are one of the very few that are actually going out and lobbying Congress, talking to the regulators, and really being the adults. And will that pay off? Well, it's better than not doing anything. So they could be the ones that could be the big winners. And again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And Ripple does know a lot of people. Let's just be honest. Moving down. So one part has been dismissed. However, the court gives the plaintiff the green light to proceed with the cause of action involving the violation of blah, 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 which is all about fraud and selling unregistered securities. Okay, so why is that such a big thing? And remember, this is against Brad Garlinghouse. Against Garlinghouse. And this is where they kind of get this from. Because Brad stated, I'm long XRP. I'm very, very long XRP as a percentage of my personal balance sheet. I'm not long on some of the other digital assets. And he has come out many a time and said that he owns Bitcoin and he believes in Bitcoin. And that's not to be disputed, but he's probably talking about other digital assets, maybe like Tomato Coin. I don't know. Because it's not clear to me what's the real utility, what problem they're really solving. He's always been open about that. He thinks that there's a lot of different digital assets that solve absolutely nothing, and they're just there to make money. If you're solving a real problem. If it's a scale problem, then I think you have a huge opportunity to continue to grow that. We have been really fortunate, obviously. I remain very, very, very long XRP. There's an expression in the industry, hodl. Instead of hold, it's hodl. I'm on the hodl side. So this is going to come into play because Judge Hamilton said the plaintiff may move forward with the cause of action solely based on Garlinghouse's alleged misrepresentation regarding the scope and character of his XRP holdings. The court also noted that the plaintiff may pursue other cause of action against Ripple Labs. So it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a discovery process. They're going to take a lot of depositions. It's going to be very expensive, I can tell you that. So I don't know where this guy's getting his money, but I know he's going up against a huge corporation. Not that you can't beat a corporation. I've been sued by a corporation before. It sucked and drained me tremendously. It took me 2 years, but you got to do what you got to do. So the real question is going to come down to is how much is Brad Garlinghouse holding? How much has he sold? What is going on with his holdings right now? And I mean, it's all up for debate. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just not. And I mean, I could just off the top of my head, I could think to myself, well, even if you had, I don't know, 10,000 XRP or 100,000 XRP, if you just say, hey, I'm long XRP, I mean, that could be enough. But again, not a lawyer, don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe that it's going to all come out in the court proceedings, and we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's move on. Next up, and I'll make this quick, SushiSwap tanks below $1 as protocol's liquidity continues to bleed. Good riddance. So the food-inspired DeFi token is currently down almost 94% from its all-time high of 1590. Jesus, 1597. That was reached on September 1st. It's pretty low. So if you don't know, let me give you a little history lesson. This is always interesting. And the reason I'm talking about this is not because I want to bag on this project. A lot of people lost a lot of money, and that sucks. I don't want to see anybody lose money. Let me be very, very clear on that. But I wanted to cover this story as a reminder for anybody who is listening, who is thinking about starting the same type of thing. This is not the way to do it. This is the exact opposite way to do things and to screw people out, and then also to cause the whole industry really to have a black eye. We're going to recover. I think we'll be okay. These are just growing pains, but this is what's not to do. And when we get into Uniswap, I'll tell you what exactly you should do. So as reported by You Today, token then tanked over 75% on September 5th after the master chef swapped his sushi, all his sushi, for Ethereum and distanced himself from the project. Sushi had a relief rally the following day when FTX CEO SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, was handed over the protocol. Next week, SushiSwap wanted to become the largest DEX with $1.4 billion worth of total value locked because of its successful vampire mining attack in Uniswap, just essentially sucking all the different liquidity out of Uniswap. Not all of it, but a good portion. Still, the token was crashing. Chef Nomi's repentance caused a 50% rally on September 11th, but it wasn't sustainable, and now here we are. So it's one of those things in business, and it's one of those things in trust. I've always said this in the same thing. Trust is a currency you cannot buy, and it takes or can take decades to actually build up a reputation, but it only takes seconds to make it crumble. So you have to protect these things. And I've seen businesses crumble because they make a catastrophic mistake, and it's all based on trust. And they do something to their users, to their employees, to the people that they serve, and it screws them out of something, and you just can't recover from that. No matter what you do, it's just very hard to come back. And this is exactly what happened with sushi. So that's how it goes. So if you're going to start up some type of project, just know this is the exact opposite thing you want to do. Now, Uniswap later captured all attention with the surprise airdrop of its Uni token on September 17th. And that was fantastic. That's how you do things, right? You don't give it all to these whales. You don't give it all to your investors. You say, hey, we're going to reward the community that got us here. We're going to stick with the person that brought us to the dance. Here you go. Here's your 400 Uniswap tokens. And you know what? If it was any other type of way, I would have sold those things so quick. I'd have been like, great, thanks for it, suckers. I'm out of here. But to date, I have not sold them. And I probably won't sell them just because of the way they handle themselves. So I think Uniswap could do great things. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's move on. Next up, I want to talk about PokeStarter. I was watching Satoshi Stacker. He's a YouTuber, got a pretty good channel, and he was talking about it, and I'm always sucked into great conversations. And I thought, what the heck is that? I like Polkadot. I got Polkadot. So what's PokeStarter? Well, PokeStarter, the people who brought that to us, they believe that projects like Uniswap and Compound have issues, especially in terms of scalability. And talk about Ethereum network with their fees, the slow performance, and people get frustrated. So yeah, there's definitely an issue there. I can tell you that from experience. So what do we want? Well, users want cheap transactions, ultra-fast swaps, user-friendly design, that's for sure. And the possibility to buy and move assets between blockchains. That's what we want, sure. So what are they going to do? They're going to bring to us PokeStarter, permissionless DEX built for cross-chain token pools and auctions, enabling projects to raise capital on a decentralized and interoperable environment based on Polkadot. So you're going to be able to have decentralized projects, will be able to raise and exchange capital cheap and fast, users will be able to participate in a secure and compliant environment, and use assets that go beyond ERC-20 standard. Great. So this is going to be a DEX, a decentralized exchange. Here's the use cases. Fundraising. Startups can raise funds on a secure platform. Auctions. Token pools will include bid auctions. And OTC, close OTC deals with password protection. So this is interesting because it's a decentralized exchange and it talks about having full KYC integration, a governance model like other DEXs do. Permissionless listing. So that's interesting because you know the permission listing. With permissionless listing, you can have the real tokens and also scam tokens. This is the same thing that happens over Uniswap. But you can't do cross-chain swaps, which is interesting. Fixed and dynamic swap, anti-scam features. Well, let's see how that works out with the permissionless listing. I'd love to see that actually. And here's how it ranks up. So you got Polkastarter, Uniswap, Prima Block. I don't know that one. Bounce, I definitely know that one. So you got cross-chain pools, supports any asset, governance model, fixed pools, whitelisted pools. Great, and they got all that, and Uniswap doesn't have it. Of course, that's what you're going to say. Sure. So, I mean, look pretty promising. Here's the roadmap. Something's going to happen in Q4. Permissionless listing, fixed token swap, private pools, anti-scam features, so all this stuff's going to happen in Q4, which is October, November, December, right now. Q1, they're going to migrate to the Polkadot multi-chain swaps. Q2, it looks like they're going to give out governance tokens, and then they have a DAO Q3, Q4, 21. So everything's going to happen moving forward. So that's great, and it goes through some other things. So I'm interested in it. It looks pretty cool, but there's some problems I see, and this is what I got. So if you scroll all the way down, you can look at their team, right? So here's the founders. I don't know. It just says this is our founders. I'm hoping there's more to this team, but this is what they got. They got two guys, Daniel Stockhouse and Tiago Martins. Well, who the heck are these guys? Well, Daniel here, I had to take a little search because it just says serial tech entrepreneur, scaled companies over 1 million users and 20 million turnover, successful exit. And Tiago, passionate, product builder and senior software engineer with a successful exit. Great, fantastic. What have you done? Sorry, but that's what I got to ask. So looked up LinkedIn. Here's Daniel Stockhouse, and here's what he's done. So I look up here, co-founder, June 2020. I mean, this is right. They're just making this thing, right? And it's been 5 months. Here's where he's at. He was also the co-founder of Olifant, LIGO, and Fitch. So Olifant, they're a digital agency, passionate about the things we do to help our clients grow. And they do like e-commerce websites, content marketing campaign. They pretty much just build out funnels for websites, right? They also do, or they build websites. Great. So he did that for, looks like 19 years. Wow. He was part of LIGO. It's an e-commerce site, 5.5 million annual visitors, up to 20 million annual turnover. So, okay, this guy's he can build a company. Great. On to the scale of what we're going to see. Who knows? And then we've got Tiago Martins. Remember, this is the CTO. So he started being the CTO as of September 2020, last month. Lead developer in CoFlit, Bet Protocol, CoinVision. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, CoFlit, what's that? It's a leading general aviation aircraft management platform. All right. Product advisor for Bet Protocol, new online gaming standard, fairness and transparency. All right. CoinVision, this is probably the most related to cryptocurrency digital assets, building the leading crypto research and education company. So let's take a look at that. And then he was also an instructor for Ruby and Python. So definitely knows about coding. Great. So we take a look at this. CoinVision, designed to help new investors understand the cryptocurrency market. We'll visit the website, and that's never good. So look, I'm just an investor. I'm not a trader. I don't like to trade. I need to minimize risks. And I'd like to do more sure things. There's nothing really sure in any investment. That's just the way it is. But you try to look at the most positive things that you can. And for this one, it sounds good, but I'm going to pass on it right now. I don't know what else to tell you on this one. Take a look at Satoshi Stacker. He did a really good video. But for me personally, I just got to pass. Not to say that I won't change my mind. I looked at Polkadot, and I had originally passed on that one, and I did a little deeper dive, and I said, yeah, I'll probably get into that, and I did. I keep buying Polkadot, but mainly because of Gavin Wood, who was one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and that's a smart guy. That's a guy I can believe in. He's already done it once. Why couldn't he do it again? On the flip side, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and I just don't know about this one. So that's it for today. So thanks a lot for sticking with me to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you like these types of videos, there'll be 2 more that's going to pop up on your left and right, and I'll try to link to the videos that we just talked about. And that's it for today. So have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you on the next one.